touched earlier on just the evolving landscape of land work. Do you have counterparts on the lobbying side for the renewables business that you work with?
Oh yeah.
Um, what are some of the things that you're seeing kind of being pushed from that space as it may pertain to landmen? Are they pretty much not concerned with it? I'm sure they're probably just concerned about just overall support from funding and financing and being able to get approved for their projects. But is there
Yeah.
anything that you're seeing there that,
Their big deal is, they're always so much on the defense. It's interesting, renewables are eventually going to become a very, very big piece of the electricity production landscape. They're not there yet. Now they're just trying to keep people from being mad at them for things that worked to their benefit years ago. Um, they their big deal is transmission. That's kind of the biggest thing that they've got. They need more wires out there. They need to be able to get wind power from West Texas to where people actually use it. My hometown of Abilene can only absorb so much wind. It's got to get to Dallas and Houston and Austin. That's their big deal. And honestly, that guessing from the work my dad did, that's probably good for our industry, particularly if you roll in the right of way agent side of it, because they need more wires on the ground. The renewable guys don't want to make enemies out of anybody. They want to be friends. The head of the biggest renewable association in town's a guy named Jeff Clark. He is out there every day saying that the electricity needs of Texas are are going to require a response from multiple sources, and we need to be all inclusive rather than trying to pick a winner here and a winner there. And he is very pro oil and gas production and the use of that for the electricity needs of the state. And so they've got no inherent problem with what we do. It's interesting, our the oil and gas industry as a whole used to be very anti-environmental or renewable. I'm sorry, renewable energy, and now that attitude is changing a whole lot as the industry evolves, and that's a good thing. New markets for landmen are a great thing. I mean, you can only sign so many leases in the Permian that have been done for
yeah,
the last 100 years. Finding a new market to go into and new sources of work, that's important stuff.
it is. And we're seeing the associations at the national and local level recognize that and recognize that it's a opportunity driver for landmen.
Yeah.
And it's good to see that we're aligned and we're not trying to, combat each other at the legislative level. And I think transmission's a big deal. I think it's got to happen. And I think landmen will work on those jobs ultimately. I
Yeah.
mean, there are a lot of landmen that have, AAPL memberships as landmen and IRWA memberships as right-of-way agents, and they'll take on just like your dad. I'm a
Yeah.
right-of-way agent, this month, and next year I'm gonna be a landman because I've got to put food on the table. And
Oh
I
yeah.
think
I mean, before the Barnett, I mean, my dad was doing more telecommunication work than he was anything else because they were, putting a lot of lines in the ground, a lot of
yeah,
lines in the air. The landmen historically have been great about addressing the evolution of the business. They're survivors. They're scrappy. They go out there and if the market is changing for them, they evolve with it. Like you said, if the price of oil goes down to 20 and nobody's out there looking for new resources or signing new leases, then they become right of way agents and they or maybe
yeah,
they paint houses on the weekend. I don't know, but they do whatever it takes to
all
get
of the
done.
above. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's do
they're
I
very
do.
familiar.
I
They're
always tell
familiar with
people.
the cycle.
I know that people always ask, how's everything going? We'll say, well, I'm still a landman, so that's that's a positive. I don't know if I'll be
Yeah,
one tomorrow, but I am today. Um, well,
everybody
Todd, man,
always says that, but the membership still stays up. And yeah, I've been excited when I've gone to speak to some of the local groups in Dallas and Fort Worth and East Texas in the past year or so, and the Permian, where there are young landmen in there and just getting into the profession. You know, the schools are addressing it and putting more people out. It's good to see that University of Oklahoma doesn't have a stranglehold on putting every landman out there, because I just
Yeah.
can't copy that. I mean, the sector is and at least from what I see, healthy and growing a fair amount. And there's a new generation of landmen coming out there that are going to do what the state needs them to do to keep their ACs running.
Yeah. Well, hopefully so. You're right. We're seeing, at least on the field side, we're starting to see some more interest, right? There was a period of time where we weren't getting new landmen because the industry couldn't
Right.
support it. You know, it was,
Right.
to your point, you can only buy so many leases and run so much title in the Permian Basin.
Right.
And I felt like to a certain extent it was getting harder and harder for us to keep, you know, people working, and especially keep young landmen working because they just didn't have the level of experience. I mean, you're not going to keep a 3-year landman and put a 10-year person on the bench.
Right.
But with all the, you know, the advances we've seen and the evolution of the renewable space, we're able to keep all those seasoned landmen working, get them some diversification, keep them busy, and that makes room for the younger landmen. And we're starting to see that. I think probably in the last 4, 5, 6 months, we've maybe hired 15 or 20, you know,
Wow.
3 to 5 year landmen, or even 2-year landmen, where we didn't do that for 10 years before. So it's providing opportunities, and if we can continue at the government level to stay out of the way of the landman, I think the landman will keep working and our profession will grow. We'd love to see a solution on the transmission side of things. I think we're all anticipating at some point, you know, we're going to be right of way, and we're going to be doing more right of way, and we hope that
Sure.
it's for that. We know the state needs it. Hopefully the government can get out of the way and let us be able to do our job and at least provide a provide a path for doing it and
Yeah.
getting some of these T lines in place. And we'll
Well,
see.
the industry seems a lot more attractive now that you don't have to do what my dad did every weekend and drive to Sonora and sit in the courthouse and run title all day, every day for 4 out of 5 days. You can sit at your computer and do that in most cases now. I
Oh my
think
God.
a lot better job.
Try getting a landman to go to some county nowhere, Texas.
Vegas.
Oh my gosh. It's like your death sentence. Yeah, I'm not sending you to
Oh, yeah.
purgatory, man. I need you to go run some title. But I don't know, like young landman's a lot more apt to do that. So it's we're getting some of our young folks, they're getting some good opportunity to go to the middle of nowhere and cut their teeth and earn their stripes. So
Is, is everybody not computerized now, or do you still have to go
no,
to courthouses and run title all the time? Because
you
a lot of
do.
people got away from that, didn't they? I
Well,
know when
in
Eagle Ford started, they kind of, I can't remember what company it was. Maybe I won't say,
there's a
but
there's a
like
pile of them.
they paid to go and computerize the whole or digitize the whole record system down there.
They did,
Um,
and you see it in the major, you know, the high activity areas. They pretty much got all that cleaned up. But what we found in renewables is these projects are happening in places that haven't had activity from a land
right.
standpoint. And so you may have 20 years of online records, but you still got to go there to run the early records. And
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of back to the old days in that sense.